So with no further ado, let's dive into this. Sound good? Perfect, yeah. Please switch the slide.
Of course.
So first of all, IGEL loves community, and we believe at IGEL that we want you guys to, or we want to be able to share and collaborate and grow technically together, right? And we believe that helping you guys understand what we're doing only benefits us at the same time while benefiting you guys. And then and really at the bigger picture is we're able to create a let's call it a virtual group of people that are able to learn from each other. And what we've seen in just over a year of the IGEL community being around is we've had just a tremendous amount of success with this thing. We have over just about 2,000 members, 35,000 messages shared back and forth on our messaging platform, and a lot of camaraderie, truly a collaborative community type of environment. So what does this mean? This is what we built, but how does it look? What do you do with this thing? So can you switch slides? So I look at the IGEL community as not just one entity per se. It's one thing called the community, and all of us together sharing and what have you. But there's many different components to it. So sort of the complete community is coming together nicely. The oldest piece and the really core of the community is this messaging in Slack. We use Slack to do that. You might be familiar with Slack. It's an amazing application. So you can join the community by join.igelcommunity.com. Also within there, you're going to be presented with all the latest news about IGEL and IGEL partners and things like that. If you're looking for key technical resources related to IGEL, we created a IGEL community resources page, which is just a simple page with links on it for you to download what I find and what the community has found to be some of the key resources to get started or to learn something important. Events like this event, we do a lot of webinars, podcasts, videos, things of that nature. So we share those on this page, both on demand and upcoming events. White papers, getting started guides. If you're new to IGEL, you can download a white paper or getting started guide and be up and running in a short period of time or learn something new. We also do polls too, which is quite interesting. So we do 1 or 2 question polls every couple weeks, and we let those things run, and we're learning a lot from our customers and partners, and you guys are surprised on some of the results. It's again a collaborative type of thing. You can also meet alliance partners like ThinLinc today, and then coming soon we're going to have a community news paper, which each month will share different stuff going on within the community and what have you. Can you pass the slide? So please join now, join.igelcommunity.com if you're not already a member. There's been a lot of changes at IGEL in 2019. I wrote an interesting paper myself. It's a short white paper, and it's about what's new in IGEL 2019. So please feel free to download this, and that'll help. So I want to talk just a couple more slides about IGEL and what's new and how we see the world and things like that. And I'm very excited. We have some new branding called the Next Gen OS and Edge OS. And I firmly believe this. I'm so excited to see this because of the fact when I came to IGEL 2.5 years ago, I thought I understood what the company did. And I always believed in the idea of quote unquote a thin client. What I learned at IGEL is we were so much more. We were a complete operating system, and that operating system was designed for Citrix, for VMware, for Microsoft, for what nowadays we call cloud delivered workspaces. So I think this messaging goes on is perfect for what IGEL truly does, and that is we're an operating system. Can you flip the slide? And we see the future as I think is pretty obvious to almost anyone today. The future is we're going to have these clouds out there, and there's going to be a few major ones: Amazon, Microsoft, Google, and in these clouds they're going to have services, of course, but also things like legacy desktops and applications, not just SaaS ones, but also traditional ones, right? But we're going to have all these different things. Of course, we're going to have Citrix and Microsoft out there too, and VMware. They're not going anywhere. It's going to be this hybrid world of cloudy and distribute, everything, right? And then we have the end users, and they're going to be in different places, their homes, their office. Really, at the end of the day, they're going to be anywhere. And we should have an operating system at the endpoint that's secured that's easy, that's manageable, that can slide on top of their existing operating system. For example, boot off a USB stick like our UD Pocket, and have access, secure access to those devices anywhere, or those resources anywhere, anyplace, anytime. And at the end of the day, I believe that's what IGEL can do today, and do it very, very well. Next. So why IGEL? For all the reasons I just said. At the end of the day, we're simple, smart, secure. We can convert your existing devices. We can do that for thousands and thousands of devices. We're smart, any cloud workspace. You know, we have agents for about everything, and I'll talk about that in a second. And 80 plus ecosystem integrations like ThinLinc that we're sharing with you guys today. We're secure, and this is one of the biggies. Not just are we easy to deploy and very simple to use, but we're secure by design. So it's a read-only Linux-based operating system. And if when you see and read about all these vulnerabilities and attacks, these things are happening to not the IGEL OS. And when we did find one like Spectre and Meltdown that affected everyone, we were the first Linux distribution to have it patched, which is very, very cool. So one last slide, and then I'm turning it over. And the IGEL OS is all that I just said, but it's really made up of also all these different ecosystem partners we have, and we have tons of them. And I love this slide. And what I'm trying to do with IGEL Community is not just share what's going on within IGEL with you, but also share what's going on and allow us to collaborate and discuss and you know and love the EUC community. So we support and we work with all these different labels you see on the screen. But today I'm really excited to have Samuel from ThinLinc with us, and they make a really a great solution. Like I said, I know a bit about it, but I'm really looking forward to diving deep and seeing this thing in action. So with no further ado, Samuel, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Doug. All right, so my name is Samuel Manahet. I am a software engineer, and I'm a part of the ThinLinc development team here at Cendio. And to begin today's session from my side, I would like to get everyone on the same page. Server-based computing, I mean, this is also in the essence of what IGEL is doing. But the basic idea here is, of course, to be able to centralize applications and desktops and resources, and for enabling users to remotely control these things, the resources and applications, from their normal devices or from IGEL devices. And of course, using IGEL UMS and other configuration software, we are able to do this all in one place. We can configure from one central place, from the server, from the UMS, for example. And of server-based computing is, of course, that it's easier to administer, it's more secure, and lastly, it's also remotely accessible. And this last part, this is where our product ThinLinc comes in. So as a brief overview, ThinLinc provides remote access to Linux desktops only. So you have, for example, Citrix, you have VMware and other solutions that focus on Windows desktops. ThinLinc focuses on Linux desktops. And we have two big focus areas, and that's reliability and security. Our customers often call our product robust, and we're very proud of that. Our company is the oldest Linux company in Sweden, in fact. So Linux was founded around 1990, and Cendio was founded in 1992. So we began very early, and at the start we provided services around Linux in general. Over the years, this grew more and more specialized towards providing Linux desktops. And ThinLinc as a product is from 2002. And one big advantage of our product compared to other competitors is the quality of our support. Our customers have access to support directly from the developers, from me and my colleagues. We are the most qualified people to help you with your issues, and we will be able to give you fixes and stuff very quickly. And some quick information about our users. We have a lot of users all over the world, as you can see, mostly in Europe and North America, but our presence in Asia, especially Japan, is growing a lot. And next I'm gonna showcase some exciting customers that I'm very proud of. We have many high-tech companies with very demanding environments, such as NASA. ThinLinc is there, part of this. Airbus is another example. General Dynamics and their department Electric Boat. That's they're manufacturing submarines. And the big up-and-coming, very exciting company called SoftBank. They're also using us, and many nice universities also prefer our product. And then there has been a lot of success for us in research facilities, such as NICEF. And yeah, before I begin my demonstration for today, I'm just gonna go over the main aspects of ThinLinc once again. We are aiming to be reliable and robust and secure. We have clients for any device or system. IGEL OS is one of the platforms that run our client very well. The ThinLinc client is included in IGEL OS, so you don't have to do anything, you just have to start it. And our support is very high quality and responsive. We have very quick response times, usually less than an hour. All right. So for today, what I'm going to start by doing is showing you the installation of the ThinLinc server. Since ThinLinc is a product for Linux, the server is a product for Linux. What I have here is a Red Hat 7 machine, and I have downloaded the server bundle. So in this folder here, which I unpacked, you can start this install server script. And you can do this graphically, as I will show you now. There's also a text version as well, if you want to automate it. So let's just click through this quickly, install the necessary packages, and now we're going to have to run the ThinLinc setup. This will allow you to configure your setup more closely. So this is run after the package installation. The first concept that we run into here is the master and the agent. So the ThinLinc solution is created to be able to run on very large installations with big clusters with hundreds of machines for very large user bases. And in this concept, we have these two different types of ThinLinc roles. You have the master and the agent. The master is the one that handles the load balancing and is the broker, so to say. And the agents are the machines that are the roles that are running the actual desktops. So, but for this example, we're going to have a one machine setup, since the cluster would be a little bit more needed to demonstrate. So this machine is going to be both a master and agent, and for now I'm going to choose master, and the agent service will be started automatically. So this machine has had an older installation before, and for this I'm going to automatically migrate the old settings. So this is a great feature that we have for upgrading the ThinLinc software. You can either use some options to migrate the configuration yourself manually, or you can use our automatic migration. And this server setup, it analyzes the system to check if all dependencies are met, if all the necessary packages are installed. For example, you see here this Python LDAP module is not installed, so let's do that. It found the necessary package, it downloads it, and will automatically install it for you. The ThinLinc server is available for any Linux distribution. On our webpage, we have requirements. They're not very difficult to meet these requirements. So basically, any Linux distribution will meet the requirements, and you will be able to run ThinLinc on those. The main ones that our customers use are, of course, Red Hat and Ubuntu. So here we can have an email address if you which will ThinLinc will send, for example, license updates to this address. Here I can set a password for a web administration interface, which I will show you later. And this client machine, which I'm using right now, does not have any printers, so I will uncheck these. Otherwise, these options are great, and they allow you to use a printer connected to your client device in your remote session. The server setup will also configure the firewall and for all the necessary ports to be opened and everything. Great. It will also configure SE Linux on Ubuntu systems, which usually do not have SE Linux. We also have the setup to automatically configure AppArmor as well. And lastly, okay, this is no problem. Yes. All right, so now the server should be installed. What we can do now is that we can go out here, and this is a Windows machine, as you can see. I can start a ThinLinc client. I can specify the server on which we installed ThinLinc. A user called Cendio, I believe is the username. And then we should be able to connect. So this is a new machine. The host key is not cached. Let's save it. Okay. Let's check the username. Let's just set the username that I know. So ThinLinc uses the normal users on your system. So I just modified the password of an existing user. All right, so I forgot to do something here. Apologies. There we go. So what you can see here, if I do this, make a window of it, what I have here is a Windows machine, and this is the ThinLinc client, And with this, I can connect to the Linux, the Red Hat machine on which we install ThinLinc. Great. So just to show you. So here we have a Red Hat machine, and we are connected using ThinLinc. So what we have here is the normal ThinLinc client. This is the same client that you will use on the IGEL OS. Of course, IGEL OS is Linux based, so that's a Linux client, but it works the same way like this Windows client. What we also have is a web client. So I'll open up Firefox here. I can go to, I can go to the address of the server, and by default, the web access, as it's called, is running on port 300. And of course, I forgot to start that one as well. Okay, let's skip that part for now. We can show you some ThinLinc options we have here in the client. So easiest if I start a new client. So ThinLinc supports many different authentication methods. The most common one is, of course, password, but we also support public key authentication, smart card authentication, and Kerberos authentication. And since ThinLinc authentication is based on PAM, which is the underlying authentication method in all Linux systems, we also, of course, support one-time passwords from Radius, for example, or Duo, Google Authenticator, stuff like that. Works flawlessly. ThinLinc is using SSH for the regular clients and TLS for the web clients. We do actually have a demo system set up. I can use that to show you the web client. I can use Chrome instead. So here we have a web interface for logging in to the ThinLinc client in a web browser. And as you can see here, I'm running a ThinLinc session in the web browser. So this is a bit older. This is Red Hat 6. This is running on a system that's available for the public. You can just register and try this if you want to. If you want something more modern, you can just like I did. In the web client, you have, for example, as most of you know, if you do for Control-C or Control-T, for example, you open a new tab in the browser. So some limitations are there in the web client, of course. We do have some workarounds here, for example, some extra keys that you can use to send. For example, you can Alt-Tab, as you can see here, and stuff like that. Next, we can show you the web administration interface. We can do that on this. I forgot the password for this one. We can use this machine instead. We can use this one. Apologies for forgetting passwords in the heat of the moment. For example, in the web administration interface, you can look up users. For example, we can look up the user Samuel. Yeah, that works. Took 19 milliseconds. We can look up the group for my user. Oh, that works too. We can also see the status of the licenses used. This is one of my colleagues' installation. It doesn't have any active sessions at the moment, and only one active server. But here you can see some graphs for license usage, for example. And there are some configuration options. You can set up subclusters. You can divide your, if you have big clusters with many servers, you can divide them into different groups, for example. We have a concept called profiles, which allows you to use, for example, different desktop environments. As you can see here, we have GNOME, KDE, Mate. Those are some normal ones. And you can also set up some locations and terminals for, this is used for printing mainly. We also have a feature called Desktop Customizer. This allows the administrator to set up custom Linux desktops for their users. For example, you can have a custom menu structure. You can add some custom applications, stuff like this. And last but not least, we have a center for how to reach documentation. When you download the server bundle, you will get the documentation included, but you also have documentation available here on our website. Yeah. So, is there anything else I was planning to show you? No, I think that was it. So ThinLinc is a product that allows you to publish and access remotely your Linux desktops. So in this demonstration, I have showed you how to install ThinLinc on this Red Hat machine here. So we have this. This is the Red Hat machine, Red Hat 7, and on this machine we installed. We can do this. So we installed the ThinLinc packages on this machine. We ran the ThinLinc installation graphically, and then we connected to this server from this Windows machine here. I can do it again. There we go. And voila, here we have the Red Hat desktop. Right, so that's it for the demonstration. I will be happy to answer some questions. Doug, are you with me?
Yes, sir. Very, very nice demo. I love it. Absolutely love it. That's great. Great. Absolutely great. We do have a one question Guys, if you have any questions, please use the questions piece, and we'll get those answered real quick. But the one question is, does it have an Android client? I want to use Zebra and Honeywell Android terminals in warehouses.
So both yes and no. The easy answer is that no, we do not have an application which you can install on Android. The same goes for iOS. But the good news is the web client, which I demonstrated. I can show you again here. So this web client is in fact nicely, what do you say? It's made to work very nicely on Android devices. So I believe that, for example, browsers have this mode where you can pretend to be a touch device, for example. Let's see if I can find it. Yeah, but I'll skip demonstrating. I'll just do this. So this web client, you can run this on both Android and iOS, and it's tailored to work perfectly on both those systems. One main thing that's usually the case on Android tablets and Android phones is that you don't have access to a physical keyboard. So one solution that we have for that is, as part of this side menu here, you have a button that brings up an on-screen keyboard, which you can use. Usually those standard on-screen keyboards don't include extra keys, so these keys are also very useful on Android devices. Another thing that's quite limiting on most touch devices that doesn't have access to a keyboard or a mouse is, for example, right-clicking. It's solved by us by adding another button when we detect a touch-only device, and that allows you to change which mouse button you send. One exciting feature that we're also working on in the future is touch gestures. So it's very common nowadays that these endpoint devices, the terminals, the phones, the tablets, the laptops, that they have touchscreens. On the other side, it's quite uncommon that these Linux systems that you use in the backend, that they do not have touch support. So what we're doing is that we're adding some compatibility layer here, allowing you, for example, to pinch with your fingers to send a zoom to the server, to pan with 2 fingers to scroll, stuff like that. So that's very exciting. It's not something we have released yet, but it's something we're actively working on at the moment. So did that answer your question regarding Android?
Definitely answered mine. That was a good answer, great answer. Any other questions? If not, we'll call this an episode. Samuel, thank you very much. Very detailed. If someone, I think you already told them, but if somebody wants to learn more, what do they need to do?
Yes, of course. So I would suggest that you go to our website, cendio.com. And here you have information to be able to contact us. And you can either contact the company as a whole, or you can contact me. I'll type my email address up here. So my address is samuel@cendio.se. Cendio.com works as well. So I would be very happy to answer more questions if you have them. Just email me, or email our support, or email our company. Anything works. As I mentioned before as well, you have the possibility to try ThinLinc yourself by going to our website and register for a demo account. If you do this, you don't have to install anything yourself. So this is, for many people, this is a good first step.
Perfect. One more question here. How many users support free or community version?
Great question. So ThinLinc supports 5 users for free. So this is great for small companies or for people who want to use this at home. And it's also beneficial for people who just want to try it before they go to a bigger installation. If you do contact us, you will be able to get more licenses for be able to test in a larger scale as well. We do have customers who run 10,000 users in their systems, so we're definitely scalable. But it's free for up to 5 users. You can use that for no time limit.
Perfect, perfect. Any other questions? Samuel, I think we have an episode. So thank you so much for taking the time to do this. I very much enjoyed it, and I think you did a great job, and I learned a lot. It's a wonderful product. So on that note, let's go ahead and call this a show, and thanks everybody for joining.
Thank you. It was a pleasure to speak to you, Doug.
The pleasure all mine. Thanks everybody. Have a great day.